Hey everybody, I am Mike at Filmboy24, and today we're going to discuss the age-old question, what's your favorite 35mm camera? It's probably the most common question in the world among the film community, and I get asked all the time, hey Mike, what's your favorite 35mm picture-taking camera? Let me back up. I actually don't get asked that a lot. In fact, I don't know if I ever get asked that, but it wouldn't make any sense if I said, oh, I don't ever get asked this question, but here's the answer. So just assume that I always get asked what my favorite 35mm camera is, because I'm going to tell you. And I want to start by saying it is such a matter of choice. It's a very subjective question. It's like Chevy versus Ford or peanut butter and mustard versus peanut butter and jelly. I mean, it's all the same. It just depends on your personal taste, okay? Don't judge. So with that, I do have a couple of day carry bags that I try not to leave home without. And I'll go over what I carry and try my best. I do have a favorite camera that if I were forced to sell every single camera I own, this one would not be included. And I'll get to that one shortly. But first, I would probably conservatively say 300 or 400 35mm film cameras in my lifetime. Maybe more. And again, that's a conservative guess. As of right now, I'm down. I've only got 25 or 30. Some of my favorites, though, I love my Canon F1 for a myriad of reasons. And this is not a review video. I'm just going to show you sort of some of the cameras that I enjoy shooting with. I love this camera. It is a very heavy and a very bulky camera, but I feel safe with it. It's my blankie, okay? I enjoy my Canon F1. It's right now loaded with some HP5, and it stays loaded most of my life. And by the way, I love this Ektar 100 film. This is vastly becoming my favorite, although it's going to be tough to ever supersede FOMA 1 and 200 black and white. With that, the Minolta X700 has been my go-to snap to point and shoot camera. I know it's not a point and shoot, but that's what I like to refer to it as because I'm so accustomed to it now. It's such a fun camera. It's an easy camera. It's a very basic camera. It has aperture priority if you're into that sort of thing. There's a lot of reasons to love, love, love this camera. Now I understand and I know the X-series of Minolta's camera line had some issues with capacitors, and I have replaced a couple capacitors in them. You deal with it. These are very inexpensive cameras. The lenses are wonderful and they are inexpensive. And this is one of my absolute favorite cameras in the world. Would be very tough to part with this one, although this isn't it yet. Now, let's put these aside. Stay there. Behave. Bag number one. Now I carry this small backpack. Move this film out of the way. A lot of places. And it has my Canon series favorites in it right now. Those favorites include, I have a bunch of Canon AE1s, the non-programs. I don't usually carry them, but I do have like 5 or 6 of them. But I do love this A1. The A1 is a pretty automatic version of the AE1, and it's so easy to use, and it's so much fun to shoot. And what I typically do is I'll have a color roll and a black and white roll. I keep 2 cameras in here in my Canon bag, and I typically will have a lens swap. So like one camera would have, like this one has my 50mm 1.4 on it, and the other one should have my 28mm 2.8 on it, if not maybe a 35mm lens on it. At any rate, I love this Canon A1, again, for a ton of different reasons. I'm not going to review the camera right now, but if you can find these cheap, which you can, pick one up. They're a lot of fun. Then, loaded with HP5, my Canon AE1 program. In other words, the camera does all the work for you, or manual. You can do all the work for it. which is way more creative, and that's the way I like to shoot it. This one currently also has a 50mm 1.4 on it, but I do keep my 28 in here as well, and I keep extra film. Again, there's no need to go into all of the reasons why I really love this camera. It's very robust. It's extremely reliable. I'm trying to find the right word. It's a very reliable camera. They're not super expensive. They may be a little higher than, I guess, what you would like. You could get a good one on eBay, make sure it says tested and film used and whatnot. You can replace the seals in them yourself, the door seals and the foam dampener, for $12 to $15, and it's not hard to do. And you can pick them up for somewhere around in between 100 and 150 bucks, depending on condition, with the lens typically. So fun camera, one of my favorites. This is what I carry if I carry Canon. Now, in my Canon bag, I also carry my pocket cam. This little Olympus OM, I have some OM series cameras too, but this is the XA. One of the smallest 35mm cameras you can own. Next to probably my Rolly 35 that I no longer own. Jupes. It wasn't mine, it was his. It was actually Dawn's. Thanks. At any rate, I love this little camera. My uncle, John, gave me this camera. He had gotten it in a group of things that he bought, I believe, at a thrift store. And he said, "Hey, Mike, do you want this stuff?" "No, I don't want all those fancy film cameras." One of my favorite cameras. I keep it with me almost all the time. If I can't carry this bag or I'm going somewhere where I can't keep a 35mm camera, this one goes in my pocket. It's a fun little camera. You can adjust the f-stops. And here is your focus dial down here. Very simple. In fact, it's very similar to the Rolly 35, not in design, but in functionality, because you kind of look down at it the same way you would the Rolly as you focus it. And the Rolly also has all the manual options. At any rate, my everyday pocket carry. That's what I carry if I'm going to carry my Canon cameras. Let's set this aside. Okay, we'll put that one down. All right. My Nikon bag. A bit bigger. Because I love Nikon. There, I said it. Ford, Chevy, peanut butter and mayonnaise versus peanut butter and jelly. Nikon. Nikon versus Canon. Nikon. And I don't know why. I'm not saying Nikon's a better camera. I really don't know. It's just my personal preference is Nikon. Coffee. Coffee or tea? Coffee. What do I keep in my Nikon bag? Now, I very rarely use zoom lenses, but if I do, I have my Vivitar Series 1. This is my 70 to 210 f2.8 to 4. Fits all my Nikons. My quick grab Nikon. If I'm going to grab something to run and shoot and not really give two whole pieces of you know what about maybe the camera dropping or falling, or I need to run and shoot something very quickly, that's not it. I grab my FG. This is currently loaded with some Kodak Gold 200. I love this little FG camera. It's a very inexpensive. It's similar to the EM, the Nikon EM, in that it's a beginner camera for the most part. But there's a million things I love about this. Namely, it's so easy to shoot. It's very lightweight because there isn't a whole lot of frills to it. And it's my everyday kind of run and gun go-to camera if I have this bag with me. If I don't, then it's not. Then I revert to my Olympus XA. My second favorite camera is my Nikon FE2. Had this camera for a few years now, and it doesn't let me down. It's extremely reliable, and although I would terribly hate to part with it, it's still not my number one. These are awesome, awesome, awesome little cameras. They're built wonderfully. They're bulletproof, but don't shoot yours because yours might not be. Mine's lined in Kevlar. No, it's not. Anyway, my FE2, this one is not currently loaded. No idea why, but it will be now because I just realized it's not. I keep my 51.4 on this camera. Now, because I know this video is dragging on a little bit, here is my number one I could not live without 35mm picture-taking camera, my Nikon F3. It has interchangeable viewfinders, which mine is not interchanged, just the original that came with it. It's automatic, it's manual, it's everything that I've ever wanted in a camera. I did have a flash for it. It takes a specific flash because the hot shoe on this camera, you actually have to adapt it. It's over the rewind knob here. You have to go over the top of the rewind knob to mount your accessories. I have Portra 400 in it now, which is a lot of times what I keep in it. I do shoot black and white in it sometimes. I keep my 50mm 1.4 on here 90% of the time. It is a robust camera. It's heavyweight-ish or middleweight. I love the all black design. Again, aesthetically beautiful. It sounds amazing. In fact, let's see if you can hear this. As soon as I turn it on, you may hear it. Isn't that beautiful? Makes you want to run out and get one, doesn't it? They're a little pricey. I know you may not believe me, but I actually picked this one up used because they don't make them anymore. From somebody that had it listed online locally. This tripod, 2 lenses. This is the actual bag that I bought with this camera. Working perfectly. And some accessories. Sit down. $50 US. And it's been my favorite. I can't get rid of it till I break the lens by doing that camera for as long as I've had it. It's been a good couple years. So there you have it, kids. That is my choice in 35mm still cameras. How about your choice? What do you enjoy shooting with? Let me know. Leave me a comment. Punch that like button for me. Subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you're aware of each and every time Filmboy24, that's weird, Mike uploads a brand new video. And until next time, I will see you, all of you, on the next go around.